Welcome to Kabil Kids. Today we will understand opening and middle game, piece exchanges, connection of opening and developing pieces with some chess notation. So I have a game for you here, and the game starts with e4, and as you can see I said e4, not pe4, which means pawn to e4. In normal language we can say pawn to e4, but when we are telling someone the move we can just say e4 and the person will understand that it's a pawn move. So whenever we say just the e4 or e5, then we mean that the pawn goes to e4 or the pawn goes to e5. Same way, now black plays e5. And the idea here is to control the center and also to make space for the bishop and the queen. Black does the same. And now the move comes knight f3. So knight f3, n f3. And knight c6, protecting the pawn. Bishop c4, a very good move because now the bishop is controlling this diagonal and also attacking this f7 square, f7 pawn, which is very weak because it is defended only by the king. Black decides to play bishop c5, again a very strong bishop, and here white plays an interesting move c3. Now the idea of this move is to play d4, and once d4 has been played, this pawn will have to capture the pawn because the bishop is also attacked. If the bishop moves back, then the knight and the pawn both are attacking this pawn on e5 and only the knight is defending. Hence, there are two attackers and only one defender. In that case, we will win a pawn. That's why here black plays a very good move and he plays bishop b6, just bringing his bishop back because he has already anticipated the threat. White plays d4, and now black is not forced to capture the pawn because black's bishop is already behind. Black plays queen e7, protecting the pawn, and now white goes for castling. I will show you the notation of castling on the right side. And knight f6, and now d5. So as you can see, as you can notice, I said d5. I didn't say d5 or anything like that. I just said d5, and that means that the pawn moves to d5. But this move is not so good because the bishop is getting blocked, and also the opponent's bishop is also getting very strong. So in the opening, you should move only those pawns that help develop the pieces. Now here, black decided to go back. If he had gone to a5 forward, then bishop could have come back and later b4 could have trapped the knight. That's why black chose to go back. Bishop d3, protecting the pawn, but here queen e2 was a better move instead of bishop d3 because queen e2 is also developing a piece and at the same time it is protecting. So black plays d6, protecting this pawn, and now the black queen is free. And now here white plays a dubious move, which is h3. Now what happens is that this move is very commonly played by beginners because they're afraid of the pin bishop g4, which pins the knight to the queen, and if the knight moves somewhere, then the bishop can capture the queen and white will lose the game. Also, if the queen tries to come out of the pin, then also bishop captures the knight and the pawn will have to take, and the pawn structure in front of the king will get destroyed. That's why this h3 move was played. But this move is not considered good because every time we have castled, the pawns in front of the king should be at their place only and should not be moved forward, because if they are not moved forward, then the king is the most safe. So let's see how black exploited this mistake, and he first started with h6. Now you may think that this is the same thing, but the actual fact is that black has not castled it. So he is going straight away for the attack. Queen e2, g5, knight h2, and now g4, hg4, rook g8. So now you can see, even though we gave up a pawn, now we are attacking this pawn 3 times by the rook, knight and bishop, and it is defended only 2 times. So now we can capture our pawn back. Now white decided to capture bishop cross h6, which is a very risky move because he is not protecting his king. Instead, he is just grabbing pawns. A better move would have been to play bishop e3 to neutralize this powerful bishop. So white tried to capture that pawn, and now it's too late. Black tries to play. Black plays knight cross g4, bishop e3, knight cross h2, king cross h2, queen h4 check. And now the only move is king g1 and queen h3. So the idea here is that the pawn cannot take the queen because the rook is pinning the pawn. Also, the queen if takes the pawn, then it will be a checkmate. Thus, white played g3 and now rook h8, threatening two checkmates. So white went with the move f3, and then comes a very good move, bishop e3. So idea here is that the king cannot move anywhere, and if the queen takes the bishop, then the queen is deflected from the h2 square, and then the queen h2 will be checkmate. And if rook comes in between, then the rook is pinned, and queen can come to h1 and deliver a checkmate because the king cannot go to f2 because his own rook is coming in between. So this was a little about the chess notation and how the pieces move, how the opening is played, and a little bit of the middle game. Hope you enjoyed the game. I hope you found the content insightful. Visit our website www.kabilkids.com or contact us at info@kabilkids.com. Please like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you and stay tuned for the next exciting video.